Hey all, DT Neil coming at you with writerly things, storytelling. Wrong or writer, another one. This one people do all the time, just like the honing in one I just groused about. It's the phrase, I could care less, or I couldn't care less, okay? People get this wrong, and I'll explain why. This one's not very hard. This may not even be a very long post because it's pretty damned obvious, and yet people do it incorrectly all the time. When somebody says, okay, the correct phrase is I couldn't care less, okay? I couldn't care less. That's what it used to be before, again, people started losing control of language or not thinking about language and just not understanding and probably processing things just auditorily, and they aren't paying attention very much, and so people started to get that wrong. It used to be I couldn't care less. And what that means is you don't care at all. It's nothing. It's you've negated caring because you couldn't care less. Okay? It's impossible to care any less than you do. That's why you couldn't care less. Okay? When you say I could care less, I could care less about that. When you're saying that, you're actually saying that you do care. You could just care a little less than you were already. Do you understand the difference of that? So somebody comes forward with some stupid thing, I couldn't care less about that. And somebody comes at you with some stupid thing, I could care less about that. Do you understand now the difference of that? That's really important because people get it wrong all the time. And you could think on one level, maybe you couldn't care less about it, and yet it is imprecise language. And again, from a writer perspective, where language is our lifeblood, we do care about things. We do care about words and phrases and expressions. We do care a great deal, actually. So when I hear someone get it wrong, it's bothersome because they aren't saying what they think that they're saying. They are introducing error in their communication. So if you couldn't care less about this, okay, that's fine. But just make sure you don't say that you could care less, because you're lying to yourself and to the world when you say that. I could care less. I could care less about paper airplanes. Oh, so but you do care about paper airplanes. What? No, I don't. Oh, so you couldn't care less about paper airplanes. Got it. Clarity, man. Precision in language. It matters, especially in this day and age when communication is so quick. It's rolling. Maybe I'll do for a 2 for 1. I'll do another one since, I try to get it up to 5 minutes. This one people get wrong too. The correct phrase, excuse me, for all intents and purposes. Okay? For all intents and purposes. Clear, right? What people do, they get wrong. They say for all intensive purposes. And this is, again, this is processing language through the ears, not on the page. So people say for all intents and purposes, and people have misheard that. For all intents and purposes. And they say for all intensive purposes. And like, what's an intensive purpose? Yeah, okay, one could say, absolutely. You're very intensively doing something, so that's your intensive purpose, I guess. But that's not what they mean. When they're saying it, they are actually meaning for all intents and purposes. That little conjunction matters. For all intents and purposes. Correct. For all intensive purposes, wrong. Error. And if you deconstruct that phrase, what does that even mean? For all intensive purposes. What does that even mean? It doesn't really, it means nothing. The person just says something. They're just saying something to say something. So there it is. Obviously, somebody who says, for all intents and purposes, they actually care about what they're saying. They're actually trying to put forth a coherent point. Obviously, somebody who's for all intensive purposes, they couldn't care less about how they're speaking and communicating. They couldn't care less. But no doubt the person who would say, for all intents and purposes, they would probably be exactly the type of person to say, I could care less. So there it is. It's two for you. So enjoy.